Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Let me introduce myself. My name is Ahmad Agil from the Primary Teacher Education Study Program, Semester 1D. So in this occasion, I will briefly explain a problem which is a very important factor for the younger generation regarding the most importance of understanding English in this era. Okay, well, let's go to the topic. First of all of us agree that language is our main source of communication. The great thing about languages, in addition to being a form of communication, they also have served as a way to relate to other persons on a cultural level. There are thousands of languages all over the world. Each country has its own national language, as well as the various local languages that are spoken and understood by the people in different regions. And there is also a language spoken by millions of people, which is known as an international language. It is English, Learning English was once considered as a hobby, whereas the world continues to become more and more connected. Learning English is considered a must. So why would we need to learn English? Well, English has been originally just a language in British, but through the historical work of the British Empire, the city has become the primary or secondary language of many former British colonies, such as the United States, Canada, Australia, and even India. And nowadays, English is the main language of the country, not only actively affected by British imperialism, but also many spheres of activity and culture are dominated by the country. So this is the language of Hollywood and the language of banks and international affairs. As such, it is useful and even necessary language. Thus, we must know the importance of English in the era of globalization. In globalized world, those who speak English will have a good chance of finding a job. And therefore, English is a common international language. There are several factors or what make English important for communication in today's world. First, we are talking about the most common foreign language. This means that two people from different countries, such as Mexico and Sweden, they usually use English as their common language for communication, and that's why everybody needs to learn the language to connect at the international level. And speaking it will help us communicate from people from countries all over the world, not just those who speak English. So not just those who speak English, is all over the world. So how important is English in the world of education? Well, the importance of English in education world is also one of the things that students must know. In many countries, children are taught and encouraged to learn English as a second language, even in countries where not an official language, such as the Netherlands or Sweden or whatever countries in the Europe or something like that. You will find many syllabuses in science and engineering written in English, since it is the dominant language in science. Most of the research and studies that we find in a given scientific field will be written in it as well. And well, at the university level, the students in many countries study almost all subjects in English to make the materials more accessible to international students. As a result, we need to know how important English for students is. Okay, right, on the internet, the majority of websites are written in and created in English. Even sites in other languages often give us the option to translate the site. That's the main language in the press. More newspapers and books are written in English than any other language. And all over our world, we find some of these books and newspapers available in fact because it is so predominant in international communication. We would find more information on almost every subject if we could speak this language. And while English is an easy language, although many people think that is very difficult and confusing, maybe they think that English is actually the easiest language in the world to learn because there are so many resources available, right? As soon as we decide we want to study, there are thousands of resources on the internet and in the bookstores. We can supplement traditional learning materials with television shows and children's book or something. Yeah, you can learn. I recommend you watch as much television as possible with subtitles in English, and subconsciously you will have conversation in English in no time. And so, besides that, English is also important when traveling and business with a good understanding and communication in English. We can travel all over the world. Since it is an international language for foreigners, it's very easy to get help in any part of the world. Like we know the use of English in terms of traveling, we also have to know that the importance of English in the world of work. English skills will also help us in our business in the fields. If we visit several offices, companies, government organizations, we will see the importance of English, and major companies will employ the professional staff after getting know whether the people they are hiring are good in English or not. And companies wishing to function on an international level only consider their staff are educated if they are good English speakers or English writers and readers or something like that. Thus, by knowing the importance of English for the future, we will know the plans to realize our future. And therefore, in my opinion, learning English in the current era is one of the things that we, especially for the younger generation who is coming for the future, must pay attention to and need to improve. And what happens if, as younger generation, we get left behind when we don't understand the universal language? It's nothing but the trouble, right? So start improving your English and change your future. So maybe this is all the explanation about the importance of English language education in current area. I am Ahmad Agil saying goodbye and have a nice day. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.